Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Turn Right Machine Works. My name is Keith, and we're in here at the Rutland Lathe. And no, this is not another let's check out under the old girl's apron video, but you do get to have a little sneak peek. You see some new paint on here, you see some masking tape, nice and clean, takes on a different look. I just decided to come in here, and I have two shares today, and I have one here under the cloth here, and so what I'm sharing is something I picked up when Vanessa and I flew out to the bash, and the 2016 summer bash there at Stan's house, and had a super fantastic time. But when we left there, we headed down to San Diego, and we had two or three main goals while we headed down there, and one was to go see her uncle Junior, or Manuel Henrique, and see him at that time, because we were out there, and that was so cool. It was a blessing. I'm glad we did it. On our way down to San Diego, we stopped by my stepmom's. Yeah, my dad passed away 2 years ago, and she's been hanging on to a couple things, and I had a couple things that are very meaningful to me, more than money or anything else, and I actually stopped and I picked up this item right here, the good memento of my dad. When I started as a machinist in the yard, as a helper, and going to school and learning on the job all at the same time, you know, you're into it, and then you start having your own little projects. And this is my second project. My first project was a set of casters for my rollaway, the Craftsman, that I still have to this day. I have my first rollaway well, I should say I have my second rollaway. My dad actually gave me his rollaway from the shop, but I had got rid of that before I became a machinist. Yeah, I was in the shop, and I mean, when your good friends in your shop are rolling the rollaway along, and all of a sudden a big crack in the concrete floor or something there, and then it folds under a caster, and you see the whole thing goes in slow motion, and you know, the top box comes off the top of the rollaway and the whole thing, and I've seen it happen a couple times. And the very first thing I made for my rollaway was a set of casters, and they're on there till today. This is my second item that I actually machined when I was learning my trade and doing something on the side. We all had side jobs, and this here is a chess set, and it's still in the original box. I machined all these pieces, and then I went shopping and found a board that I liked, and then I put all the pieces into this board. I'm going to flip this over, and I have two sets of men here, and I machined it out of aluminum and brass. I'm going to take a couple seconds here off camera, and I'm going to go ahead and set this up. Alright, I got all the pieces set out here, and where we put the queen on her color over here, the light. We use the aluminum as the light, and the brass as the dark, and instead of the manila and black, or the white and black. I was limited on my skills in machine work when I made these, but I wanted to do it fast and quick, so I kind of kept a uniform matching shape on all of them, and I gave the queen a little more detail, having the crown on here and left the king just standing tall, and the bishop's kind of like a short king. The chess set that we had at home, my dad was an electronic engineer, worked for Hughes Aircraft Company, and he worked a lot on the Apollo and lunar projects, and he was also heavy into CBs and hand radios, off and on throughout his whole life. But he used to have a chessboard with numbers and letters on it so that he could actually play over the radio with somebody else with a set up somewhere else. And not that he was, played chess all the time. In fact, for a long period of life, even after I gave him the set there, he never played chess. But it was a symbol. He actually taught me how to play chess right off the bat. But so anyway, a couple unique things. I mean, I did have to play in the middle a little bit, so the knight, I gave sort of a horsey looking head, and then I used the center drill and gave him an eye on each side, and that was after I had turned them, and of course I had to leave this round, so I had to do a couple other things there as far as shaping them out. The castle also had to have a little bit of mill work in it, and it was kind of simple. It was just doing a four-way indexing and coming in with the 1/8 inch end mill, it looks like. And there again, I just went in deep and did a center drill for the center of the castle shape itself. We all have our ComShaw jobs, the after hours type of jobs, and the favors and all of that. This is a project that was a labor of love, and but it was something that it wasn't too extremely hard, but it was putting more experience under my belt as I was going, and this was pretty important for me to pick this back up. I was rushing at the end. I never did put felt on the bottom. My dad asked me all the time, hey, how can we get the tarnish out of the brass and everything else, and one thing led to another, and we never got it anything past this, and we get on to something else. But I knew, when he passed on, there's a couple things that meant something to me, and this here is one of them. I also had a couple oil paintings, and I'll put these up on the screen. My dad was a Leo, and my stepmom was also a Leo, and I originally painted my dad his lion when I was in high school, I think, and then shortly after he married my stepmother, I was asked or requested to paint the lioness, and I painted her, and they've been hanging in the living room since then. And when I picked this up, I got a chance to stop in and get a couple pictures of them. All right, there's a lot of stories that I could tell about my dad, and there's a lot of meaning in this chessboard by just having it. I get to keep part of my dad. We all know that he actually died of cancer attacking a couple organs, but he had that cancer throughout his blood his entire life, and it wasn't until when he was 82 years old he fell out of the sky parasailing, parasail, because he paraglide, or he hang glide and he paraglide at the same time. Different kites. One's a rigid and one's like a parachute. And for those of you that don't know that. And anyway, dementia was setting in, and this is my personal belief, because he actually had an episode running off the road with his Ducati too. The road turned and he didn't, and Same thing up in the glider. He's up there. He had a collapse. He needed to respawn and he didn't. I mean, you know, he even had a second parachute. He could have released himself from there. And but anyway, he spiraled to the ground, and the trauma shook up that cancer and got into his bloodstream. He would have been 84 this year, I believe. He was born in 32. That was his favorite number. So anyway, let's get on to my next share. And I'll come back to this after I polish all of these pieces up. Right now my buffer is disconnected from the wall, and I've got a lot of other priorities. We're going to be getting this laid together. We're going to be playing with the X-Carve. I got some parts that I'm going to actually start cutting on in that next week. We got some plasma cam stuff to really get into. There's a lot of things that are going on, so this will sit on the back burner, but I wanted to bring this out before it got totally forgotten, because I had promised some guys that were out at the bash and how important this thing was for me to go down and pick it up. And so alright, our other share is I have a new t-shirt that's available right now, and I want to talk a little bit about the logo on this, the phrase on this shirt, and the meaning behind what it is. Alright, so basically everything started with my ball cap, and we know the story that Rachel from UK wanted get a garment or something from Keith Fenner, Turn Right Machine Works, to give her husband so he could have it to go wear out in the shop, and she wanted to give it to him for Christmas. And that's how we started out with the ball caps. The ball cap is exactly the way I designed them. I used to offer all the colors of the rainbow on the brim, and now I just got basically the two, the navy and the black brim, but the emblem still on the front. And I had two slogans: walk on the talk and get her done. All right, walk the talk. That has a lot of meaning. So many friends, mentors, even my father instilled that into me. And what, I'm 42 years in the trade, and I've been playing by myself, for myself, since 1994. And of course I have my wife and everybody else that's left in the family supporting me. And you know, so we had the pointed finger, get her done, and that all derived shortly after the hats were done. And Quentin Berry actually found me, and he was sending me some artwork, and I said, who is this? But you know, I didn't put, you know, I was just enjoying the interaction that he was shooting my way. And he's actually did the Uncle Sam and the pointed finger, and then from there we went the pointed finger into get her done. And so things evolved, and Quinn found me. I didn't find Quinn. And we've had some awesome fun going back and forth with the creativity. Some of it actually is artwork that goes into the garments, and sometimes it's something that goes into our videos or into our Facebook smear or whatever, something like that. So we got a pretty good relationship, but we've been working on something, I'd say pretty close. If it's not a year, it's slightly over a year. And anyway, and it all started from a photograph. And let me set up the my prop here. Okay, one day I took a picture and I had these welding goggles on, and the reason why I had the welding goggles on is because I had to try them on. Now I wear these $800 titanium framed progressive auto tinting windshields, and that's what I have to wear now to see properly. So I adjust and I have to actually have another number 5 or 8 lens in a shield or something like that, where I can still wear those and I can still focus. You think this looks weird? You should see those LED lights that I got there. They look like I'm looking into the sun there. Now, the time I got these, I was using this and setting this up to get videos of arc shots, or trying to get videos of arc shots, so that I could look in on the puddle while I'm walking the talk. In my videos, I'm trying to get you coming along besides just looking at the pretty lights, and so I can get you in and look on that puddle. Well, I was going to do some brazing, and I wanted to see if taking and unscrewing one of these lenses and creating a I don't have a camera here close, but a lens cover to compensate for the light structure, to video it for you. And so while I was doing this, I snapped a shot, and I posted on my Facebook. Quinn grabbed that picture, and then he turned it into high contrast photo, and that started off the trend of the photographs that I'm using in on my shirt. And okay, I gotta get this off my neck. Okay, so he did a couple different pictures there, and we actually had it was almost looking like a mash picture, almost in the khaki green, just like the MASH unit shirts. And that stood for about 6 months worth of time or so. And then finally we got into, hey, let's get a little serious, and Quinn really started throwing in some different aspects of that hard lined photo, the high contrast difference there, giving the almost skeletal look. And I thought it was really cool, because it was looking like something Mad Max type of look. I love John Wayne, I like Clint Eastwood, I like Van Diesel, okay, I like Mad Max, and I like a lot of the other ones there. And all of those videos that I can relate to, because I'm looking in at the mechanical component and the mechanism and the creation and you know, the far-fetched but dreaming, because it's bad coup, okay? And you know, every one of us has got a little bit of bad coup in us. Sometimes it's just not on the surface. So I really, that's, you know, I'm really attracted to that, and that's, you know, you want something that stands out there. Now in this shirt, I'm actually holding two items. One of them, I'm actually holding this Proto 712 Proto wrench with my initials carved in it. Back early 80s, this was 80 or 81, when I was in the shipyards at Atkinson Marine, and one of the Leadman or foreman at that time, I had this problem where this pin kept coming out, and I went over to him, and you know, hey, how can I get that in? I was an outside machine. I was actually outside working inside. I was assembling a 100-inch VTL for the inside crew, you know, as an outside machinist. And he says, well, we can come in there and we can peen that so that it'll stay in there. But he says, while it's out of there, you can add a thread in on the rack, and you can get that thing to open up to 1.5 inches, because every other 12-inch crescent wrench does not open up to 1.5 inches. And it seemed like that 1.5 inches, you know, just being cut off below that 1.5 inches in the shipyards was a big deal about getting a wrench. And so fully open, with this sitting without any adjustment at all, fits 1.5 inches pretty comfortable, and that's what my compound post in there on the closing lathe was. And that's, you see, that's, I retired this wrench from there, but I'm not retiring this wrench yet. I use this all over the place, and actually now it gives me the freedom to have it in several different places. And so in all reality, this is my first thread I ever cut. Okay, it's not a conventional thread like in a lathe, but it is a thread, and I cut one thread on this wrench. So this is my first thread ever cut. I don't know if anybody else has hung on to their first thread ever cut. All right. And also too, there's the quality of the proto, and also too, if you watch Mad Max, he's got one of these on his vest. All right. The other item I'm holding in on the picture is my Brazing Torch, and that is a symbol of the talents of my brazing and my heat straightening. And I learned to gas weld at 10 years old. So, you know, those are two important items to me that I put on the shirt. Now, there's a few of you out there that said, hey, how about a dial indicator? How about a micrometer? I have always had a micrometer in on my name and everything else to emphasize that machinist status quo, might put it. Even when I had it used to be just Keith's Machine Shop. Let me see if I have yeah, I do. All right, I'll have to bring this around to you. All right. All right. I used to, when I first had my own shop in San Diego, I worked for North Star Propeller, but I also had my own shop at home, and I bought uniforms from the place where we had uniform service at North Star Propeller, and through them I had them make up the patches, and I had a minimum patch order. And of course I had a lot. I had a lot more patches than I ever used. But I had they were iron-on back, and then a little stitch around there, and I think Vanessa kind of hand stitched a lot of those on there. And I had a couple of jackets and stuff like that, just personal, so that I had those that early. So that's actually how Turn Right started, was Keith's Machine Shop. And then before I came out to the Cape and started my business, I actually had two names on the refrigerator: Turn Right Machine Works, RIGHT, and Turn Right Machine Works, WRIGHT, came afterwards. I added the W in there for millwrights and that kind of status on my name. And I changed from Keith to Turn Right, and it was the pun of the name, but it was also, I wanted something other than just my personal name on there. I don't know why, I just did. So anyway, I love this shirt, and I felt comfortable with this shirt. I got to thinking and I don't actually need to have a micrometer or an indicator or a veneer or any actual tool that a machinist uses in here in the shop to consider myself a machinist. I'm past that point, and you know, I've gone through so many things, other projects in my life, whether I'm doing the garden, or I'm building the chicken coop, or I'm painting the house, or I'm doing a tile job. You look at it and you hear right behind you, boy, you sure can tell when a machinist is doing that. And you know, and that's the truth. All right, every one of us has got it in us, and it isn't gone. You take the tools away from us, the machinist is still there. So I'm really happy about these shirts. Now these shirts, I'm running this campaign. I'm running on T-Blaster, and T-Blaster, I'll put a link at the end of my video. It'll still say Swag Rack, because later on I'll probably have these shirts made up, and I'll have them on hand in the Swag Rack. But when you click on Swag Rack at the end of this video, it will take you to the T-Blaster site, where you can take a look at the shirts. There's 3 different colors, any size you want, even the extra big guys can grab a shirt their size. They are pocket tees. I got the pointed finger, get her done on the front, and then I got my new logo for Walk the Talk. Now it's not gonna take over my logo or do away with the get her done or any other thing there. It's an ad. It's an add-on. Okay, it takes care of Walk the Talk motto or slogan that I've had on my hat from get-go. It's just that I finally got around, and Quinn, thank you very much, Quinn. Fantastic job, and I love throwing the ideas back and forth at each other, and you're very patient, and you know, he's you know, put you in touch with Quinn anytime anybody out there wants. He's done a lot of good work for all of us in the community, and one thing that was nice about going out to the 2016 bash was actually seeing some of the other guys' shirts. And I mean, I've ordered a couple and I have them here, but you know, I didn't see everybody's shirt until I got out there, and there's a lot of nice artwork done out there, and you know, and Quinn had a big part in a lot of it. So anyhow, it's kind of just what I wanted to share today. Alrighty, so until next time, which won't be too long. Actually, I'll let you in on something. I think tomorrow or the next day I'm getting a package back, and it's the carriage that I sent out. Alright, I sent it out to have it scraped, and when it comes back we're going to open that up, take a look at it, and I'm going to take, and I've been doing a few other things on this thing, so it's kind of a little sneak preview that this job is progressing as well. The shafting, I thought I was gonna get out of the shafting load there, and I got another big boy in here, but it shouldn't be taking up too much time. We can get back to this, some fun stuff. All right, till next time, get her done. Walk the talk.